Welcome to OpenStar CNC. In this video, I will show you how to quickly set up a 4-axis rotational axis operation using OpenStar's free software, even for commercial use. I'm using Blender version 5.0.1 and the FabEX CNC add-on, which you can download following the link in the description of this video. I will quickly show you how to install the add-on, how to import the STL file that I want to mill, and how to quickly set up a roughing operation and a finishing operation. Before moving on, I want to quickly thank everybody for the support, be it by subscribing, commenting on YouTube, by supporting financially on my Patreon page or on my Ko-Fi page. And I want to remind you that if you need personal assistance, you can book a one-on-one session. You can find the link in the description of this video. To download the FabEX add-on, you need to follow the link in the description, scroll down to Assets and click on the FabEXCNC.zip file. After the file has downloaded, let's go back to Blender, go to Edit Preferences, go to Add-ons, and here you have this little down arrow. Click on it and select Install from Disk. Select the file that you have downloaded, click on Install from Disk, and you should soon see FabEX CNC here with a checkbox next to it. If you have any problems, visit again the download page. You will find there full instructions and the requirements to install FabEX and to be able to use it. After installing, it's preferable to restart Blender just to make sure everything is okay. To check if the add-on is correctly installed, go to the Render tab and try to change the render engine. Besides the default render engines in Blender, you will have FabEX CNC Cam. Let's import the object. Today I'm going to mill a chess piece upon. So go to File, Import, select STL because that is the format that we want to import. Select the file and you can either click on Import or set a scale. What I have noticed is that most of the STL files that you can download have a scale of 0.001. But you don't really need to set it here. Leaving it to 1 will just import the object larger and we are going to scale it later. So click on the Import button and as you can see I have a really huge object, which is the pot. Let's quickly resize it and align it so we can use it for our CNC job. With the mouse over the object, press the N key, which will open up this menu here. Go to Item and I can see all the properties of the object. For now it is huge, so let's change it. What I care about is the dimension on the X and on the Y, which needs to fit the stock that I'm going to use on my machine. Let's say that I have a round stock of 21 mm in diameter, so I will set the X to 21 mm. And then instead of changing everything else from here, I will go to Scale, copy the value from X and switch it to the other two axes. Now the object is really small. If I scroll to zoom in, you will find the object. One important thing that you need to know, if you might have this problem, you cannot zoom in, you cannot find the object. It seems that it's too small or you can't even see it at all and you try to rotate and pan the view. There's a simple fix to this. Select the object in the tree, go with the mouse in the 3D view, and you have two options here. If you have a numpad on your keyboard, press the dot key, which will bring the object in full zoom and the rotation and zooming center will be on the object's origin. If you don't have a numpad on your keyboard and you need to do this, again select the object, press the tilde key on the keyboard, and then use the view selected or press the 3 key. Now you have the same effect. The object is focused, is zoomed, so you can see it exactly as you want. My rotary axis is aligned the x-axis and I'm going to have to tilt it so it is aligned with the rotary axis. If the rotary axis would have been aligned with the y-axis, I would have rotated the object around the x-axis. But in this case, I'm going to rotate it around the y-axis with 90 degrees. But I have a problem. The object is not starting from the y-axis from x0 upwards. I could move it using the Move tool and constrain everything to the x-axis and just move it, but this means that I have to visually align it, which I really don't want. Let's undo this and leave the object facing upwards, and I will show you how to use the FabEX add-on to properly position the object. So go to the Render tab, change the render engine to FabEX, and now I have the options for the FabEX. I will need to select the object, press on the plus in the operation presets. I don't really care about the operation right now, I just want the material group to be here. I will check the center on x-axis, center on y-axis, and change the Z placement to above. When clicking the position object, you can see the object is now from the base plane upwards, and the origin, the orange dot, has remained in the world origin. This means that now when I rotate it 90 degrees around the y-axis, the object will start exactly from here. This is exactly what I want. Another object has been created, the CAM material, which I don't really need right now, so I can select it and press delete. Now that I have the object positioned, I will click on it to go to item, and I want to set everything in this position. I want this to be the reference position. In order to do that, I will press Ctrl A while holding the mouse in the 3D view and select all transforms. Now the rotations, the scale, everything has been reset. I have the object at the required dimensions. I can move on and start creating the CAM operation. Remember that we created an operation here just to be able to rotate it, but we are going to use it anyway. We just need to name it so we know this is going to be the roughing operation. If I want, I can set separate names for the operation and for the file name, but I will click this button which will link the two together, and I can write just one value, roughing on, and this will also be the file name. This is all I need to do here. I can go to the CNC tab here on the central right panel, I don't know how else to call it, and let's set up a 4-axis operation. I'm not going to change the axis count to 4 axis first, because I need to do something else. I want to change the strategy to parallel, and only after that I can change the axis count from 3 axis to 4 axis. This is because now I have this parallel setup menu here, which otherwise won't show up. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. If I leave the default cutout strategy and switch to 4 axis, no matter what I change here, the cutout menu will be instead of the parallel. First, leave it to 3 axis, switch the strategy to parallel, and only after that change to 4 axis. I'm going to use a parallel along the axis strategy, and as I told you, my rotary axis is aligned to the x-axis. In case yours is aligned to the y-axis, you need to rotate the object and set the rotary axis to y. Since this is a roughing operation, I will set a step over of 2 mm, leave the detail to 0.2, just in case you will have some differences from the object to the actual milling. You might want to decrease this value to 0.1 or even smaller. I'm just going to show you what are the values that need to be changed. There are a lot of other options here, but for the basic setup for getting the result that we want, we don't have to change anything else. So I'm just going to show you what really needs to be changed. In the exact mode, make sure it is checked, open it and check the Use OpenCam lib option. This will make computing much faster. Let's set the operation depth, and this is going to be from the origin to the top or to the bottom, actually to the largest part of the object. My object is 21 mm in diameter. This means that this is going to be the radius, which is 10.5 mm. After moving away from this field, you will see a warning, a really popping out warning, which appears because the safe height now is smaller than the start depth. So we need to change the safe height. I will use a value of 15 mm. It's a reasonable offset from the start depth. Now let's move on to the layers. I'm going to leave it checked because I want layers for the roughing operation. I want the material to be removed in layers. Otherwise, I might end up with some problems, and I will set a layer height of 2 mm. If you feel like the machine is almost stalling or the motors are blocking, change the layer height to a smaller value and try again. Scrolling down to the feed rate, I will set a value of 500 mm. Again, depending on the machine, on the cutter, on the material, you might want to use a different feed rate. The spinner speed is going to be 15,000 RPM, and the plunge speed, which is the vertical feed rate, I will set it to 80%. 80% means 80% of the horizontal feed rate. Now let's set the cutter. For the roughing, I'm going to use a 1/4 of an inch end mill, so I will leave the type to end, and I will set the diameter to 6.35 millimeters. This is because I'm using metric for this video. One last thing that I need to check is the output trailer. But not just to check it, also open the small icon here, the small arrow, and make sure I have M02 in this commands field. This means that after the milling is done, the machine will stop, the spinner will stop. If I don't check this, the machine will keep on running, the spinner will rotate, and I will have to manually stop it. Depending on the setup, you might find that after the operation G-code, you will find the optimization group. Sometimes it's at the top, sometimes it's just under the operation G-code, so don't worry if you cannot find it up. Scroll down and you will find it here. That is where you need to check the Use OpenCam Lib option. Now that everything is set up, I can click on the Calculate Path and Export G-code button to get the G-code for the roughing operation. The nice thing about Blender and the FabEX add-on is that you have here on top a progress bar. You will see how the operation progresses, but you have to remember that the rotational axis, the 4th axis operations are pretty computing intensive, so it might take some time to calculate everything. Once the operation is done calculating, if you don't see anything, you have to do the following. Make sure the CAM path is selected, go to the green triangle, the Data tab, and here under the shape keys you will have rotations. Uncheck this and suddenly the operation appears exactly as it's going to be milled. One more piece of information that you might find useful: if you enlarge this menu a little bit and scroll down, you have the information box from FabEX. Here you will see the cutter engagement, which is 31.5%, and the most important thing, the estimated time, which is 1 hour and 2 minutes. It might be a long time. I've used a very small feed rate. Increasing that feed rate, of course, will reduce the time a lot. Now, let's create a second operation, the operation for the finishing, and after that we will be able to export the two files, the one for the roughing and the one for the finishing. To create the finishing operation, which is almost the same as this one, I will go to the operations group and with the roughing operation selected, click on this button, copy active CAM operation. I now have a second operation, the roughing pawn copy, which I need to rename, so go back here to the operation and file name, and let's call it finishing pawn. Let's go back to the CNC in the center right panel and change only the things that are needed to change in order to get a finishing operation. But before that, I will click on the eye icon next to the toolpath just to hide it from the view. And the things that I need to change are: first, let's set a toolpath step over of 0.5 because I want very dense layers to get a good finishing for the surface. Uncheck the layers and let's change the cutter from end to a bore nose with a diameter of 3.175 millimeters, which is 1/8 of an inch. Of course, if you have a different tool bit, you will have to set the things accordingly. This is all that I need to set. Now I can click on the Calculate Path and Export G-code button again, and I will get the toolpath for the finishing pass. Now to see the finishing toolpath, again, select the CAM path finishing pawn, go to Data, and uncheck Rotations. You can see now the lines are much closer together and I have only one pass because most of the material has been removed by the roughing operation. Now that I have the two operations set, let's export the G-code. Go back to the Render tab, make sure the render engine is set to FabEX, and we need to set a few things. First, the export folder, click on this icon, select the folder where you want the G-code file saved, click on Accept, scroll down to the machine, and select the proper post processor from the list that is here. I'm using a GRBL machine, so the post processor is going to be the default, the GRBL post processor. If your machine is set in imperial units in inches, change it from here. What I forgot to tell you when I first started making this project is what happens if all the dimensions in your Blender installation are in meters, because that is the default behavior. Go to the scene and under units change the length from meters to millimeters. That's all, everything will be in millimeters from now on. So we have set the export folder, we have set the post processor, we've set it to GRBL. I can now select the two operations and click on export G-code, which will save the two files. Thank you for watching. I hope this video will help you set up your first 4-axis rotational axis operation using Blender and the FabEX CNC add-on. I remind you, this software is totally free, it's open source, you can use it for whatever you need, even for commercial use. Thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to support me, you can do it through my Patreon page or through my Ko-Fi page, be it for a one-time contribution or for a subscription. See you next time for the next video.